Well, I'm Gillian McDonald, Stuart and Matthew's mum.
And I'm Craig, I'm Stuart Matthew's dad.
Stuart and Matthew are twins, identical twins, who look very much like the Proclaimers. Like Craig said, they're 17, soon to be 18. We discovered that they had Fragile X when they were 10.
Because everything you hear about when you're diagnosed is very medical and scientific.
There was an awful lot of things fired at us all at once, and it was probably just too much to, you know, people ask me, so what are your repeats? And I felt really silly that I didn't know what repeats, what are they talking about, you know? So it took a long time to actually get the terminology and understand what exactly people were talking about. And I think when I look back on it, probably, you know, when you've just been told your children have got Fragile X syndrome, and you're sort of thinking, oh right, that's, you know, that's why they are the way they are. It's just quite an overwhelming, you know, so much information to take on board, as well as kind of deal with your children as best you can.
When you find out about Fragile X, you get referred, you go to a geneticist who draws up your family tree and really quickly tells you all the people in your family that are affected. Brilliant, thanks for that. And you very quickly find out that other people are impacted across your family that you didn't really have any expectation, well, wrong word, awareness of. So very suddenly, Gillian's sister was a carrier, one of Gillian's mum and dad were a carrier, there were cousins who were at risk of being carriers, and a lot of these are female, therefore when they come to have children they may or may not be affected. They may have normal, whatever that is, children, or they may have people like Stuart Matthew or more severely impacted than Stuart Matthew. Before diagnosis and at diagnosis, when you find out about Fragile X syndrome and you read all the things about it, then you kind of think, crikey, they're never going to be able to do anything. How are they going to ever ride a bike, swim, sort of walk in a straight line, quite frankly? You know, the very, very basics that everybody takes for granted.
Thinking back to that, do you think that there were professionals implying that Stuart and Matthew, you know, wouldn't make a lot of progress in the future, or do you think that was your assumption that you laid on it?
I think when you go, probably back to what you said about when you Google, I've got a migraine, and you see the world's worst set of criteria about what a migraine might look like. There's all these kind of bullet points about what a child with learning disabilities will be like. And to the kind of naked eye, you think, crikey, they're going to have all of these things. Maybe it's just human nature that you automatically think the worst. You know, and it's things that we probably never ever thought that they would do. You know, they're now talking about going to college, and we kind of see a bit of a future in terms of work in some shape or form. And we probably see a future of some sort of independent living, maybe. That 10 years ago, when you get, like I say, or less than 10, but when you get diagnosis, you think, crikey, Stuart Matthew would be incapable of doing anything ever.
Yeah.
And that's just so far not true.